Okay, right, let's do this. Okay, so welcome to another episode of The Promising Creative, where I am here feeling graced with the lovely
Amanda Akokhia.
And again, today I wanted to get Amanda's story down. I've followed her on Instagram and just been like looking at your work and stuff. And I wanted to start off at the beginning, right, rewind it right back. Just tell me a little bit about where you're from, where you grew up, and what that was like.
Okay. So I grew up in Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria. I came when I was 12 and me and my family, we moved to Manchester.
Okay.
So I think I was in year 6 at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, year 6. Yeah. So it was a huge change in so many ways. The weather, the food, the people,
say the weather.
All of that was like a huge shock to me. And I struggled to adjust a little bit, but eventually I got there. And then about 4 years ago, I moved to London to pursue my dreams as a photographer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you moved to Manchester, obviously, like you said, you struggled. I mean, obviously, the weather, the food, I mean, it's completely different. Like,
Very
it's
different.
okay for, like, when you're born here, like when I was born here, even though my parents came here, my parents had the same issues because they were like, food damn different. It was horrible. My dad, I remember he saying when he first came here, he was in shock because it was so cold.
Literally, that was me. I was shocked. I was so, like, when they opened the door, I felt like, is this a joke? Like, is this a joke? I actually started crying because I was like, it was so cold. We came in winter.
Just at the right time then.
Perfect time. Yeah. So that was a huge shock for me, the weather. Yeah.
So you studied and you went through school, and because your story is really interesting because you obviously went on to do law.
Yes.
So just talk. What made you go into law? Was there a specific thing, or was it more that I really enjoy this subject and I want to do it, or what pushed you into that field?
Yeah, I come from an African background, Nigerian background, and most Nigerians, you have to be like a lawyer or a doctor, an engineer, in order to be like deemed as like successful. Yeah. I really loved art. I loved makeup. I loved photography, but it was something that I never really thought I could pursue I never thought I could be a photographer like full time. So when it came to like picking what to do at uni, I was quite good at English. So I said, okay, let me do law. Because I never in a million years thought that I could go to school to study photography and become a successful photographer. Because I just never saw any like role models as well. I never saw anyone like me. And yeah, I just didn't think it was possible. So,
did you find pressure as well? Like, because I had that when I was growing up, the pressure of like, you have to do a job that we understand.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Pressure from not just my parents, my family, my friends. Is like, you have to do a job that everyone understands. So yeah, I definitely felt that.
So you went into law.
Yeah, I did that.
And you studied hard at it.
Very hard. Very, very hard. I was crying nearly every day because I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't like my passion. I was like really passionate about photography. I was still taking pictures on the side. But yeah, I did the whole 3 years and I graduated and I gave my certificate to my parents. I was like, see, I've graduated, I'm done. You can have it, you can frame it, you can do what you want with it. Now I'm going to go and pursue my dreams.
So it was instant?
It wasn't instant. It took me about a year to like take that plunge.
Step.
Yeah.
And did you go and then get a job in law?
Yeah, I did.
What law was you doing?
I was just like doing a training program thing. Okay. Yeah. So it wasn't like an actual law job. It was just like, what do they call them again?
Like an
paralegal. Yeah. Like a paralegal role.
Okay. And so you were doing it and you're like, okay, I've done what my parents did. I'm really unhappy. I'm doing something I enjoy.
Yeah.
How did you, was there a moment, was there a defining moment when you were like, I'm done. This is it. I'm pulling the parachute. I'm jumping out.
Yeah, definitely. I was working there for about a year as a paralegal. But I noticed that I was so unhappy, and like after work every day, I'd like go and do things that were not good. just because I was sad and I knew inside that I wanted to create. I had this like drive, this dream of being like an artist, because I knew that that's what I was, and I wasn't living that reality. So after work, I'd just go out with my friends. I'd like go out drinking and just not really like, I was just like kind of numbing
not
those
self-harming,
feelings.
but
Not like self-harming, but like, what's that word?
But you were literally pushing your body. And
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
I'm going to go and get drunk. I'm not going to do things. I'm not really going to look after myself because I'm not happy.
I'm not happy, yeah.
So in a way, you were like just not happy, and it was creating these other issues around you.
Yeah, 100%. There's a word that I'm looking for to describe this. It's it will come, yeah.
It will come when it comes. Just blow it out.
Yeah.
So you were like going out, partying, working as a paralegal, unhappy. You was a year in this job, and then what was the moment? What do you remember it quite clearly? Was it like, right, I'm going to do it now?
I remember it very well. It was a time, I think it was like a year later. And then I had a conversation with my manager, and she was like, okay, so what's next for you? Where do you think you're going to go? And in my head, I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to be here. And then I think during that conversation, I realized that I really didn't want to be here. I realized that I was still young, and this is the time to take the opportunity to pursue my dreams and see, if I fail, it's okay. But if I succeed, then that's amazing. So I came to that realization that let me just try and put everything I can into my craft. And so I decided I'm going to quit and just work as hard as I can to do everything I can to become a successful photographer. So, yeah.
Because you are self-taught, right?
Yeah.
So how did you go about teaching yourself? How does that work?
So
was it lots of YouTube, or was it just
lots and lots of YouTube? Like, that was me every day. When I first came to this country and discovered like the whole internet and computer, I came across this website called Flickr.
Okay, yeah.
Flickr, yeah. And there was like certain artists on there that I followed, specifically female artists, actually, female photographers and artists. And they inspired me so much because I was like, wow, a female is, taking these pictures and they look so amazing. And I'd like, after school every day, I'd go on Flickr and be scrolling on their pages. And like one day I decided, let me go and create my own images. And I stole my dad's like camera phone. My dad had a really good camera phone at that time. And that's actually how I started taking pictures. And then I started posting them on Flickr as well. And then I was getting like likes and lots of engagement, and that really encouraged me to like keep going.
Yeah.
So during that period, I was like, after school every day, I'd like take pictures, go on YouTube to learn how to edit them. And that was like what I did for like years and years. And that's how I learned how to take pictures and how to edit as well.
Amazing. So you just packed your job in.
Yeah.
Pulled the parachute, as I like to say, jumped out, and off you went.
Yeah.
You were teaching yourself.
Yeah.
And then tell me a little bit more about that journey. Like, was there moments in that process where you were like, oh my God, what have I done?
Even when I was having that conversation with my manager, I was like, am I sure? What am I doing? What am I saying? They're paying me every month and you're comfortable. So there was a lot of uncertainty, but I just thought like, nah, like I really, really, like I had such a passion for photography and for art. And I was like, I just want to try, So yeah, I did have a lot of self-doubt, and a lot of my friends and like family were saying to me like, Amanda, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you want to go and take pictures in the bush, in the forest, when you can be making actual money? And I'm like, yeah, I want to. So during that period, I actually had to like go within and like not really like, I didn't socialize for a while actually. I was just like learning and like immersing myself into my work. And that meant that I would like commute into London, because I was in Manchester at that time. I'd like take trips into London just to like do a test shoot and like go back to Manchester to like edit the pictures. And I'd do that every week until I like had enough money to like move into London fully. Okay. Yeah.
And you were living at home? At
home in Manchester, yeah.
So when you became a lawyer, did you move out? And then did you move back?
No.
You just stayed at home?
I just stayed at home.
Always comfortable?
Yes. It's
we
easy.
All need mummy's love.
Mummy's food.
Yeah, and the looking and the love.
Exactly.
Exactly. And were they a bit shocked about it?
Yeah,
How supportive were they in the beginning? Or
my mom has always been really supportive actually. My parents have been supportive, but my mom particularly, she got me my first camera. she got me my first like Mac computer to edit on. Because she just always believed in me, and she's always said, just you can be whoever you want to be, and she's still really supportive of me. So
that day she just keeps pushing.
She keeps pushing, yeah, and I'm so happy that at least I have, you know, supportive parents. If not, I think it would have been really, really difficult for me, because I love and I respect my parents so much. So yeah.
So you've come down to London.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first paid job?
My first paid job, yes, I do actually. I do.
And
yes.
How was that? Like, how did you feel when you got that? Like, what happened, and how did you feel? Did you feel like, oh my God, like?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. Like, it was like really, really exciting for me. It was like I'm getting paid to do what I love to do, which is like
the dream.
The dream. I'm like, this is possible. Like, you can pay me to have fun. I was like, okay. Like, I remember when I got paid, I was like, wow. Like, I felt so grateful that someone would actually pay me for my art and my vision, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the best day ever.
Because you don't particularly focus on one style, do you? Like, you're not just fashion. You go spread across the board.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you particularly like more than anything else? If you had to pick one,
one.
Yeah. Where would you go with it?
Definitely beauty.
Okay.
I love beauty photography. I love people's faces. Sounds strange, I know. No. But I love faces. I love like the eyes. I feel like the eyes, you can learn so much about someone from their eye, and I love capturing that. So yeah, definitely beauty.
You've started to do more work. You've moved down to London. Did you have many friends in London, or was it quite lonely?
It was very lonely. I didn't know anyone in London when I moved. I didn't know anyone. It was like I was saying to someone before, I was quite crazy when I was younger, because I came to London and I got a studio in London. Like, as soon as I came, I found a studio because I was searching, because I thought it'd be easier to have a studio. If this is what you want to do, you should have a studio. Probably work out cheaper than renting studios. So
is that Green Studios?
Green Studios, yes.
Okay, and what made you call it Green Studios? Just quickly.
Green Design Studios, actually. I don't know what made me think. I was like, green, like green screen, and green is like rich. You know, I like the color green. I was like, Green Design Studios. I don't know.
Okay, so you came and you got your studio.
I got my studio, yeah. It was a very hard process. Owning a studio at a young age as well. There were so many things that I didn't know came with like owning a studio, like cleaning up after like every shoot, refurbishing the whole place to give it my own look and feel. So yeah, it was like a really, really tough, like 6 months putting things together. Like, I had help obviously, but it was like me and the guy would like put shelves together, go to IKEA, you know, like the whole process was like done like between ourselves. It was really, really hard. I didn't have any friends. I was hardly speaking to my friends. My mom was like my best friend at that time, because she'd be like calling me every day. How are you? Have you eaten? How's everything going? She'd like check up on me, but it was very lonely. But I knew that this is what I wanted to do, and this is why I'm in London for. I came to London to pursue my dream. Therefore, I have to put everything into this space and into my craft. So. And
did you, when you got down to London and you were doing a studio and it was like hard 6 months, what was the, you know, when you doubted yourself, what did you do? How did you cope with the doubt?
Yeah. During that time, I listened to a lot of like self-help books. I read a lot of self-help books. I love like Brian Tracy and like Jim Rohn.
Okay.
I listened to like all their audiobooks or like YouTube videos, and they really like helped me to like be motivated to work even if things were really difficult and hard.
Did you do anything else to help you, like mentally, physically? Did you do anything that was like, apart from listening to books, like listening to stuff, reading books? What else did you do mentally?
I'm also quite religious.
Okay.
So quite spiritual. So I got really, really close to God at that time as well. And I felt like...
He always helps.
He always helps, yeah. When you just...
steps in when needed.
Literally, yeah. When things are like hard and I don't know what to do, I just go within and like pray. That's like my meditation. I just pray and like read the Bible. And that really helped me to just keep going as well.
Yeah. And now when you're doing stuff and it gets a bit crazy and a bit wild, do you always go back to that? Is that your
100%,
default?
100%, yeah. I always just go back to...
Default mode is like, right, I'm going to...
sit down with God.
Yeah.
That's me, yeah. I go away and I just like read my Bible, listen to the word, pray, and I listen. Yeah, that's what I do.
It's amazing. And so I want to talk more about your career, but I just want to tap on the bit that, so you're going back to... Were you going back home to see mum and dad?
Yeah, I was.
A lot?
Yeah.
And was you training or taking a train?
A train. Yeah, I was trained. I still do that till today.
That's quick. Like,
no, I can't. No, not driving. It's like 4 hours in the car.
That's mad.
No, I could never.
Okay. Yeah, that's madness.
No, so I used to like go every like weekend or every like... Well, when I first got the studio, it was hard. It was like maybe I'll see them once a month.
Yeah. But
now I go as often as I can.
As often as you can.
Yeah.
And that relationship is very strong.
It's very, very strong. I think my family and my parents, my sisters, my brother, they all keep me like grounded.
Yeah.
You know, with everything that's going on.
Because your career has elevated and took off.
Yeah, like and in a way that I didn't even think, I didn't even expect. I don't think they expected it as well. So
tell me more about how the process started to happen. So you've come back, you've done your studio, you've gone past that 6 months of craziness. You've got, you've got your religion, which you can fall back on. You start to gain friends. Does that start? How soon does that start? And do you have any of those same friends or?
A lot of my friends now are actually like my clients. Clients turn friends. Yeah. So yeah, back then I didn't really have many friends. I didn't really have time to go out, to be honest. I think for like that whole year, I didn't see any friends. I didn't see anyone. It was just me and my work. And I didn't mind it. I was like, it's okay. Because I loved taking pictures. Like it was like my passion. And on sets when I'm like directing people and speaking to people, that was my way of socializing. And I was like, apart from that, I don't really need to go out and see, and go out for drinks or whatever. So, yeah.
Do you remember your first big project?
I do. It was my first big project in London was the Makeup Revolution campaign I shot with Superdrug with Patricia Bright. I feel like that was my first biggest, like my first big breakthrough in the world.
How did you, like obviously when you're doing the bigger jobs, how do you keep yourself calm? And is there like a ritual that you go through, or like is there certain things that you do to help you keep calm in situations where your heart will probably beat a bit quicker because you're living the moment, but you forget you're living the moment because you're now focusing on creating the correct image or bringing your vision to life through the camera. What do you do like to keep that calmness and that groundedness?
I think the most important thing for me is to be as prepared as possible. I'm such a perfectionist, so I make sure like before the shoot everything is sorted so that on the day I can be calm and focus on creating, because I can't function when there's like chaos around me. So I just like try to make sure everything is prepared. But besides that, I always pray, as I say to you. I listen to calming music around that time as well. I like some lo-fi hip hop, just to like keep me grounded, calm, and at peace, so that when I walk in, I feel like people can feel that as well. Yeah.
So that's quite cool. So you listen to some really cool music. You're chilled. Everything is prepared to the best of your ability. Yeah. What happens if something goes a bit sideways and things don't always go according to plan? How do you approach that?
I always try to keep calm. Everyone always says to me, "Oh my gosh, Amanda, you're so calm. How are you so calm?" But I remain calm. Inside, I'm not so calm. I'm stressed out. But because everyone's looking to me as a photographer on set, I understand that it's my responsibility to keep the calm, because if I start panicking, everyone's going to start panicking. So I try to reassure everyone, oh, you know, it's okay, it's fine. And then I try to address and sort out the issue with who I need to sort it out with, so that it's not like, not everyone's not like stressed, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you find the problem, you pinpoint it, and then you deal with it.
And I deal with it, yeah. But I try to remain calm on the exterior, regardless.
Yeah, even though internally...
Yeah, I'm like...
It's chaos.
Freaking out, yeah.
Also, like, I noticed that you do quite a lot of charity work as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that and what's inspired you to do that?
Yeah, so quite recently I've been doing a lot more charity work, because when I first started, I started off with commercial beauty and fashion photography. But just looking more, like growing older, I began to look more at the world, and I'm seeing like there's so many issues that we're dealing with. And then I started to see, how can I use my gift of photography to give back and to spread light and positivity on issues outside commercial and fashion photography, which led me to work on a lot of more charitable projects. For example, last year, I did 2 photography exhibitions on about like models with disabilities and facial differences in the world of beauty and fashion. And that was a really, really good project for me. It was, it started off actually because I have a little brother who has Down syndrome. And I think he turned 18 last year. And then I started to see, like, look at him and see where does he fit in the world? You know, I started to like look at him and look at the work that I do. And I started to see like there was not that much representation of models with like disabilities and facial differences. So I decided to do that campaign, which was like really big, and it was a huge success.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I guess you're trying to bring people's awareness to what's going on.
100%.
And you can do that through your work.
Through photography, yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there any stuff coming up charity-wise that you're super keen or excited about to tell us? Or
I am, yes. I'm actually working on something big tomorrow. I don't know if I can say it yet.
Okay.
But yeah, it should be. It's still to do with that topic.
Okay.
You know, it's Disability Awareness Month at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something for that, which I'm really excited about.
Well, we must see it when it's ready.
I'll send it to you, 100%.
Yeah. So you do a lot of charity. And what are your hopes and dreams for your work moving forward? And how do you intend to get to that point? What are the levers that you want to pull?
So my hopes and dreams for my photography moving forward. I still have some brands and some people that I'd love to work with on my dream list, on my dream board.
Come on, brands. We need you here.
Yes, I still have them on my dream boards that I'd love to work with. But in the long term, I'd love to go into teaching, not just photography, but I'd love to own a creative school where people like me when I was 12 can come in and learn how to not only just create, not only how to be a photographer or a makeup artist or a hairstylist, but learn the business of this as well, how to navigate the industry. Because I feel like a lot of people are really creative, but just don't know how to make money from their art. So I'd love to have a school, a studio, a sort of like hub to, like a creative hub to teach that to kids who want to create a career in the creative industry.
Amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you got your work coming up. You're doing your bigger projects. There's more brands that you want to work with.
Yes.
Personally, where do you want to be, say, in, I don't know, like 5 years' time? Where do you want to be? Not necessarily through your work, but generally as a human being.
That's a good question, actually.
Because you're always working.
I'm always working, yeah. But in 5 years' time, I want to be happy, first of all. I just want to be happy regardless of what I'm doing or where I'm doing. I want to be happy with the decision I've made at that point in life to be there. I want to be not be working as much as I am doing right now, because hopefully I should have some kids by then, I hope, and have a family, which is what I hope to do. But nonetheless, I want to be happy.
It's about finding balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
In everything that we do. We work so hard.
That's it, yeah.
What do you do then now? Is there anything you do different to relax? Like apart from your parents, apart from being religious, and is there anything else that you do? Like
Yeah, I do now. I have more friends. Thank God.
I don't think that would be too hard.
No, now I'm like more intentional. Like I want to build relationships with people. I want to make time for my friends and family, extended family as well. So I spend more time with my friends. I love nature. Like I love going out for walks, and I love taking pictures of nature actually, which I never share. I just keep them on it's like my personal thing.
Yeah.
Like trees, flowers, plants, all of it. Just being in nature, I feel like fuels me. So that's a big hobby of mine. And obviously living in the north, living between the north and the south, there's like the Peak District, there's the Lake District. It's like so many beautiful places to see. And also I love playing the guitar.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yes, it's I used to play it when I was younger, but I've picked it back up again. And yeah, I play it in my spare time.
What sort of music do you play? Is there an artist that you sort of think, oh my God, I love that artist?
Coldplay.
Coldplay.
I love Coldplay, yeah.
I went to see them last year. They were just phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my God, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I want to see them live. I think I would just cry.
Would you shoot artists? Would you?
I would love to, yeah.
Could you see yourself going down that that route?
Yeah, 100%. I've shot a few artists in the past before, but I shot like Steph London, for example. I worked with her a few times. For her album cover, and that was really good. So yeah, I love working with artists, and I definitely see myself doing that long.
Do you have an agent, or do you?
No, I'm solely freelance.
Okay.
But I'd love to get an agent, you know.
Okay.
It's so funny because I feel like I'm still figuring out this industry, even if I'm here where I am now. I'm still figuring things out.
Okay.
So.
And when something doesn't go right, or there's a challenge ahead, how do you sit and process that? Like, something goes wrong, the shoot isn't great, the brand pulls out, something changes, you know, there's disappointment in the air. How do you sit down and how do you start to process that whole thing happening?
That's a good question, actually. How do I process that? I feel like I'm kind of used to it now. I'm used to disappointments with my work.
What do you mean by that?
In terms of like, sometimes you get optioned for a job.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not just me they're speaking to. They're probably speaking to like 3-5 other photographers, the creatives. And so sometimes I'm really hopeful, but I just prepare myself for disappointment as well.
Yeah, for you not to get it.
Yeah. Which is bad, I know, but I don't want to get too excited and then be let down, because that's happened to me so many times where I've been optioned for a really, really good job and I go around like telling everyone and then I don't get it. So now I'm like, okay, I might get it. I'm going to do everything I can to get it. If I don't, it's okay.
Okay. So when you don't, like when you're disappointed or something goes wrong, do you have time to self-reflect or do you not self-reflect? You're just like, I'm moving on to the next
thing. That's me, yeah. I don't take time to self-reflect. I'm like, yep, next. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it works for me. I just don't dwell on it for too long. I'm just like, okay, on to the next, because them saying no to me now doesn't mean no forever.
Yeah.
Because I'm still moving, I'm still working, I'm still building. And that's how I see things.
Do you go back with your parents at all to Nigeria, or not really?
I go back to Nigeria, but by myself, never with my parents. I've never been back with them.
Okay, but you enjoy it?
I absolutely love it.
How do you feel when you go back home? Is it home? Is it not home?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's so weird because it's not home anymore.
Because you've been here longer than
I've been in Nigeria, yeah. So it's like...
Is there a familiarity when you go back home? Do you feel like...
there is a familiarity.
I'm very comfortable being here.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you move back? Do you shoot there at all? Or?
I've shot a few times in Nigeria. It's a lot harder than it is here, just logistics-wise. It's just much easier here than it is back there to shoot. I love Nigeria. It's always going to be home. But... I just struggle sometimes. I'm like, that's not home. That's not home for me anymore. But it is home, you know, because that's where I was born.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. Because I have that with Cyprus. I mean, I wasn't born there, but when I go back, it feels very natural to be there.
Yeah.
But I know I'm not from there.
Exactly, yeah.
And the locals say I'm not from there.
When you speak, they just know that, you're not from here. Yeah, even the way you walk, just you know, they're like...
And then here, you're not from here. It's very weird.
Exactly,
like, where am I from?
Yeah. That's how I feel sometimes, yeah. I'm like...
It can be difficult. And unless you're experiencing that kind of... I'm not really from here, but I know I feel comfortable here, and I'm comfortable here, but I'm being told I'm not from here. So where am I actually?
Where do I fit in? Yeah,
and finding that sort of comfortability to say, actually, I'm from wherever I want to bloody be. Like, it's not up to you to tell me where I'm from.
Yeah.
Like, so you go back, and you would you do shoot there sometimes.
I do shoot.
What about artists that are from there? Would you go and do a shoot from there?
I would love to, if I get the opportunity to. There's like so many.
There's some big artists out there from Nigeria.
Artists from Nigeria.
Hey, you guys. You know what you need to do.
Call me.
Come on. Pick up the phone. Start emailing.
Yes. I'd love to work with Nigerian artists. That would be actually a dream of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that some of the big artists that hopefully will listen to this podcast
will see it.
I'm gonna tap her up. See if I can get some work. And your feed's good. Like, you've got good followers. I mean, life's not about followers, but
it's not. No.
But do you get work for your social media? Is that where it comes through?
A lot of my work does come from social media, so I'm very aware of that, and that means that I'm always having to like share, think of the next thing to post, think of the next video to share, think of the next reel. But a lot of it comes from word of mouth as well, referrals. So yeah, social media and referrals.
And do you have any more plans for exhibitions? How hard is it to put exhibitions on?
Oh my God, it's the hardest thing. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
And you got to do you finance it, or is it finance from brands?
Finance it solely by myself, yeah. But in the future, I would definitely look at like approaching brands and things. But as I said, I'm still on this journey of figuring things out.
Yeah.
So like the previous ones, 2 I did last year was all me. Maybe there might be another one coming up. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So yeah, it's really, really hard because it's like, I didn't want my exhibition to just be like a typical exhibition where you walk into a room and just see pictures on the wall. I wanted it to be like an event, an experience where people see the pictures and we have a conversation around it as well.
So when you go about creating that, how do you do that? Is it sketched out, or is it in your brain and you just make it come to life? Or?
Yeah, it's all in my brain. I dream it. I think about it in my quiet time. I'm like, I'd love to do this. So I do spend a lot of time by myself, just like thinking, okay, I want to do this. How am I going to do it? How do I want it to be? How do I want the experience to be? What do I want people to hear when they come in? What do I want people to see, to feel? And that's how I did my exhibition.
What's your advice to people that are not living their dream, who are not happy in their workplace, who want to do things different? What would your advice be to them?
I know it sounds so easy, but to just go and do it. One thing I always say is that every single person is gifted in one way or the other. Like, there's something that you can do uniquely, differently to like what someone else can do. And once you find that, just keep working on that special gift, and just do it because you can.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I guess, like the old cliche, like, is there any advice that you would give to your younger self now?
Yeah.
At 12, or when you were going into uni, or I mean, if you could play it again, would you go back to? Would you still do uni?
I would still do uni. I think education is important, but I wouldn't study law. I would have 100% studied photography.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you think about studying more now?
Do you know what? I was just having a conversation with someone about like what it's like doing a master's in photography, and she was telling me like, oh, this is what she learned. I was like, that is so interesting. I didn't know that they learned those sort of topics, like the business side of things. So maybe in the future I would go back and learn, but we'll see.
Amazing. Okay. What gives you your inspiration? How do you draw your inspiration? Because you're always being expected to be creative. Like,
and it's hard.
Get a camera, you've got to switch on. All of a sudden, you've got to be creative.
It's so hard.
Where do
actually.
you draw that from? Where does that come from? Because it's not a portal where you can just go in and turn the tap on and drink some creativity.
Yeah, and then you're like, ooh, like
back in the room.
Yeah, you know.
What do you do? What do you read books? Is there something that you go to? What are the things that you do to help your creativity?
The first thing I'd say is I have a lot of quiet time.
Okay.
Where I just sit down and I think of ideas. I like write things down. Sometimes I draw things. I just have it in like a sketchbook. But the second thing is I get a lot of ideas through nature. It's really weird. But when I'm like out in nature, when I'm walking, I see like colors, I see shapes, I see like I get inspired. I don't know. Maybe it clears my head enough for me to think. I get inspiration through music, through cartoons, through.
Is there a favorite cartoon that you have?
Oh, I have. I have a few. I'm an anime fan.
Okay.
So through music videos, like old school music videos.
What's the oldest? What was the one that you watched recently?
Oldest music video.
Or just one that you watched. You're like, okay, I watched that the other day. Or...
Okay. When I was younger, I was an emo.
Okay.
So I used to really love rock music.
Okay.
So the other day I was listening to Papa Roach, Between Angels and Insects.
Okay.
The music video is so cool. It's so cool. There's like so much energy, and I just like it inspires me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to nature.
Yeah.
You watch, you watch some cartoons.
Yes.
You watch things that help. Basically, you do things that clear your mind.
That's it. I think so. Yeah. I do things that are like just take me away from
the moment.
The moment. Yeah. And then I get inspiration from there.
Okay. I want to touch on the topic of, is there anyone or people that you draw your inspiration from? Is there a go-to person or people that you go to and you're like, okay, that person is really inspiring me? Or is it just, your religion? Or but is there, like, photography-wise, is there someone that you're like, oh my God, that work?
Yeah, definitely. There are a few people who inspire me a lot. My go-to person is, she's an Italian photographer. She's called Nima Benetti.
Okay.
So she's also an influencer, but she's a photographer. Her work is so inspiring. Anytime I go there, I'm just like, I'm fueled. I'm ready to go. Like, I can do this.
Would you reach out to her? Have you spoken to her?
I haven't.
Would you?
Maybe I should. I'm so open to it, yeah.
Maybe
but
you should
I just tell her, you inspire me.
Let's
keep
work.
doing
Maybe
you.
work together.
Exactly, yeah.
Would you work with another photographer, or would you?
I'm open to it, but I know what it's like in the industry. I don't know how photographers can work together actually, but I'm so open to it. I feel like just being with her, I'll be like, whoop.
Well, I mean, it could be something like, here's one image, I see it like this, you see it like that. Maybe that
kind of thing, yeah.
Creating something, the same thing, but through two different
perspectives, yeah. I mean, if she's open to it.
Let's reach out to her.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's do this.
We'll tag her.
Yes.
We'll tag her. Make sure we tag that moment and get her tagged up.
That would be so funny.
Okay, cool. So I just want to wrap it up as just saying, look, thank you so much for coming down.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I really get a lot out of your photography anyway. I know it's beauty, but there's also some other portraits, there's bits in there that I really enjoy. And I hope that, people will draw inspiration from your story, because you were going completely left and then did a 360 and went that way, and you're drawing success for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is a huge honor, as I said.
My pleasure. Woo! Okay, thank you.